Hello everyone, this is a daily forecast on pound dollar. Today is Tuesday, October 5th. This is the second video for today. The first video was on euro dollar, so if you haven't seen that, please go and check because that video includes a more general market review. So in this video, I'm going to just focus on the pound dollar. So let's start with winners and losers and pay attention to the pound and dollar. So first of all, over the last 24 hours, we can see that the British pound was actually very resilient and strong. It gained 0.32%, while the US dollar was neutral. And if we switch to the weekly time frame, here we actually see that there was some weakness behind the British pound over the last week and some strength behind the US dollar. However, those numbers should not be misleading. Let's check the historical graph over the previous week, because I think the tendency of the previous week was very interesting. So the British pound is the pink color. You could actually see a lot of weakness in the beginning of the week. It fell almost 1%, and then it strongly recovered at the end of the week. And so far, over the last few days, we can also see that it's recovering and it's very resilient. And the US dollar has the opposite situation. It was very strong in the beginning of the previous week. It showed a lot of weakness by the end of the week. And yesterday, it managed to recover some of its losses. So the dynamics are very different. In general, I would say I see a lot of resilience, a lot of resistance from the British pound. And the dynamics is completely different if we compare it with the European currency. We have a totally different situation. So speaking about the economic calendar, today we will also have the PMI services for the British pound. So there's going to be a lot of volatility on the market on all currency pairs, including the British pound. So pay attention because this news is going to be very impactful for the market in general. So let's switch to the technical charts. I'm going to start with a daily chart as usually. Just to remind you that we were trading in the white triangle. We broke the lower support line. There was a really strong movement in the beginning of the previous week, and then there was a strong recovery. So as you can see, this recovery was actually very impressive. It's in some way, it kind of cancels the previous trend. And if we switch to a 4-hour, I would say here, I think that there are few levels which are critical. First of all, it's the support line, which actually became the resistance line. It's the line of the triangle, the lower band of the triangle. And here I also have the low 35.70. In my opinion, it's also very critical. And all this area between those lines is actually sort of a neutral area where I think it's kind of sort of a moment of truth for pound dollar. If we decide to move much higher, possibly we can say that the previous trend is fully canceled, and then we need to consider long positions. But as long as we're below this line, as long as we're below 35.70, we need to consider short positions. So right now we're in the middle. There was a spike higher, so this is quite typical for the British pound. It's very volatile. So in my opinion, right now, there are no potential positions, no potential opportunities. We are in a zone where it's not really clear in which direction we need to move. In general, from the price action that we see really strong impulses on the pound dollar. So in my opinion, this doesn't look as a correction. In my opinion, even if we move much lower, the pound dollar is going to be very resilient. So let me show you a few possible scenarios. So I think that we actually may have weaker PMI data from Europe and stronger from the US, in my opinion. At least this is what we had on the manufacturing PMIs. And I think that services PMI may actually be the same. So we potentially may see the following price action. So just 1 second, I'll draw potential scenarios. So this is the base scenario, how this can look like. So we might have a further correction here, but I will expect at a certain level, there's going to be further resilience further resistance on this currency pair. So even if we have any downside movement, I think it's going to be very limited. So the alternative scenarios would be that the currency moves much higher. It breaks 136.20, and then basically it corrects. So that's basically the second scenario. So I don't have the third scenario. In my opinion, I only consider these two options. So, and once again, I don't see the pound dollar moving much lower. In my opinion, it's going to be a very resilient currency. It has a much better, stronger price action. The fundamentals are actually not really that great for the British pound, but the central bank is signaling a modest tightening, and this is providing some support. So that's basically what I expect from the market. And so pay attention to the PMI data, and pay attention to the stock market and how it will perform today. Probably it can potentially, in case of bearishness, it can provide some support to the US dollar as well. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give us your likes and write a short comment. If you have any trading plan, write it below the video and I will provide my comment. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss the following videos. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.